Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. So a lot of the fan base and a lot of the media is mad that Aaron Rodgers has made an appearance on the Joe Rogan Podcast, and a lot of fans are saying that it's time for the Pittsburgh Steelers to move on. I don't understand this logic. Like, what are you mad about? What are you upset about? Like, what do you want Aaron Rodgers to do? You want him to be by his phone crying or depressed in a dark room somewhere because he has people around him that are ill? Like, what do you want? Because he went on the Rogan podcast and was talking about other things other than football? He's a human being. He's allowed to have a life. Like, for anybody to get on, social media, oh, it's time to move on. Look, he's on the Rogan podcast. Like, okay, and he could be doing way worse things than being on the Joe Rogan podcast when you look at what a lot of the players do in the offseason. Like, what do Steelers fans want? Here, I'm going to tell you the way you should look at this. They need to give Aaron Rodgers, the Pittsburgh Steelers need to give Aaron Rodgers to the very last second to make up his mind what he's going to do. You want to know why? Because if they don't, we go into the season with Mason Rudolph. I am all for Will Howard. I want to see Will Howard and Mason Rudolph compete for the job, and may the best man win. I'm hoping that Will Howard is the next Big Ben. I really am. But until we see that, Aaron Rodgers, this is what I really believe. If we go into the season with Mason Rudolph as the starter right now, I really don't want to use this comparison. There's a certain team, a certain rival of ours that once had Trent Dilfer at quarterback. They had a run the ball outstanding, and they had an outstanding defense. And that's what the Steelers are going to need to do if Mason Rudolph is the quarterback. Like, you are going to have to play flawlessly in the other two phases of football. Flawlessly. And I don't have a problem with that. I think it can be done. I think we can pull it off. I think Mason Rudolph is going to play well. But then there's always that one factor. That's always that factor with Aaron Rodgers. Does he still got one more year in him? Can he still flick it? And if you watch some of the throws that he made last year on the Jets, it's not fair to judge Aaron Rodgers on the New York Jets. They are the most dysfunctional organization in the entire NFL. Yes, worse than the Cleveland Browns with the contract that they got going with Deshaun Watson. Yes, they're that bad. They're that bad. Yes, they are. Plus, Aaron Rodgers is coming off an Achilles tear. Those injuries, even when you're in your prime, take longer to heal. So he might have came back too soon. I really believe that Aaron Rodgers wants to play football again because he doesn't want to go out the way he went out with the New York Jets on a bad note. I think he's much, much better than what he's shown on the Jets. And guess what? If you watch the Jets tape, there are certain throws that he makes where he is absolutely outstanding. And I'm getting carried away right now. You want to know why? Because Aaron Rodgers had more passing yards than Josh Allen, and his completion rate was pretty much exactly the same. And he had 28 touchdowns. So this whole thing that Aaron Rodgers is washed and he can't play, and from, I'm going to read the article in a minute, from a cornerback that didn't even make the roster with the Steelers. He's washed. He doesn't care. You never even had a prime. You didn't even make it in the league for longer than a cup of coffee. What are you talking about? We need Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers with the offense that we have, the defense that we have, the running game, I'm telling you right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go deep into the playoffs and have a chance to win the Super Bowl. They are going to win the Super Bowl if Aaron Rodgers plays. The 9-year losing streak of not being able to win a playoff game is going to come to an end with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is not a top 8 quarterback right now, but he's between 8 and 15. I can tell you that right now, he's between 8 and 15. And if you want to just go strictly by the numbers, 2024, he had 28 touchdowns. He passed for more than 4,000 yards. You tell me which other quarterbacks around the league had better numbers than that. There's none. There's not a lot. I don't know what the confusion is, because he's like California laid back, and he's not talking about football 24 hours a day, and he's not in the corner crying. And what do you want from the guy? They're entitled to have other lives. He's entitled to go on the Rogan podcast and talk politics and, talk about bugs and aliens and whatever he wants. You make no sense. You make no sense. And what's best for the organization? The best thing for the organization is this: to have as many as the best quarterbacks as you can on the roster. That means Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, and Will Howard all fighting for the job. That makes the Pittsburgh Steelers better. If you have all three of those quarterbacks on your roster, you're a better team. It's just enough already. The worst thing that could have happened was Aaron Rodgers going on the Joe Rogan podcast. Like, now everybody's just like bonkers. It's like being in a mental asylum where everybody wakes up and they just start screaming at the top of their lungs. Like, it's ridiculous. So this idiot, he's a cornerback that didn't even make the league. And I'm going to get into this article first. He don't give a damn. Former Steelers cornerback doesn't think Pittsburgh should sign washed Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, coming from a guy, what is this guy's name? Steve Nelson. He didn't even last with an NFL team. He literally had a cup of water and was cut. Washed, and he don't give a damn. I'm sorry, Nelson wrote Thursday on his Instagram story over a picture speculating that the Steelers would make the playoffs with Rodgers. Hall of Fame, though, give that money to someone else. You know, this moron, I guarantee he didn't watch all 22 film of Aaron Rodgers last year on the New York Jets. Of course not. He just has a feeling. And he's just going by what the media says and racist Ryan Clark and ESPN, what he's saying. Because if you watch the film and you've seen some of the throws that he makes, the anticipation, of course he's not the Aaron Rodgers, the 28-year-old Aaron Rodgers. But guess what? He's still in the next tier of quarterbacks. He's still from 8 to 15. That is an absolute guarantee. That is an absolute 1,000 correct statement that I just made. He's from 8 to 15. I know that. 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns. You think that just grows on trees in the NFL? Oh, that was in cleanup duty. That was all sloppy. Just shut up. And now it just makes this worse and amplifies it because he had to go on the Rogan Experience of all places. Like that has anything to do with what's going on. Here's another thing. For an idiot like this, see, this is what happens in media these days. Everybody just makes up stuff and they run with it. Here's what happened. Aaron Rodgers told Coach Tomlin, told Omar Khan, told Mr. Rooney he needs to the very last second to decide because people in his inner circle have cancer. What else do you want from the man? So what? If you don't see him depressed, crying on a pillow and drinking have empty bottles of wine around him, that doesn't mean he cares about football? And here's what are we going to do if he doesn't sign? He's not holding the organization hostage. You know what the Steelers are going to do if he doesn't sign? They're going to have Mason Rudolph and Will Howard fight it out for the job and may the best man win. And guess what? The Steelers are more than comfortable to go into the season with either one of those quarterbacks. You do what you got to do. You can only work with what you can work with. And I'm fully okay. If Mason Rudolph starts the season, I'm perfectly fine with it. Last time we see him in a Steelers uniform, he dueled it out with Josh Allen, almost won the game. They didn't have TJ Watt. They didn't run the ball well. They weren't as good as a team that they are now. He can play. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to come out on the field and totally crap to bed. This whole notion that Aaron Rodgers is making a fool out of the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers is holding the team, that's a lie. It's just a complete lie. And here's another thing that you keep hearing from the fans. Oh, the Pittsburgh Steelers should tank so they can draft higher in the draft. Are you effing kidding me? Do you really love your team? Do you really love the black and gold? Do you really love the city of Pittsburgh? Do you forget for years with Kevin Green and Rod Woodson and Greg Lloyd, they had a stacked defense and they had a terrible offense and they fought and they battled every week and they're finishing the season 8-8, 10-6, and then they finally made it to the Super Bowl. Do you remember those tough years before they got a quarterback Neil O'Donnell? We all know what happened. Yeah, he was an above serviceable quarterback. If it wasn't for those 2 phantom interceptions, they win the Super Bowl. They held the Dallas Cowboys to like 17 points in the game, less points than anybody, held them to for like 2 years or whatever it was, some ridiculous number. We are not that far away. We don't need to tank. I don't ever want to hear the word tank and the Pittsburgh Steelers in the same sentence. I will literally tell you to shut up. That's not the Steeler way. You claw, you fight, you dig, you come up with a way to win. All you got to do is win by 1 point. You don't got to win by 5, 10, 17. You just got to win. And that's it. All this tanking talk is just, you're stupid. You're dumb. That's it. I don't want to hear it. I don't ever want to hear, oh, the black and gold should just tank for the season so they can get a better quarterback. That's not how it works. Ever. That's not how it goes. Just stop with all the dumb talk. And you know what started all this dumb talk? Because Aaron Rodgers was seen on the Joe Rogan show. It's just like, wow, man. Let's do something positive. Kinkabala expects Aaron Rodgers to be significantly better than he was last year physically. So do I. That's exactly what I think. Aaron Rodgers was still coming off that injury. She emphasized during an interview on 93.7, The Fan, as we had him during the season. He kept talking about feeling significantly better. I expect him to this year be significantly better than he was last year physically. It's just the added year of post injury that should have an impact. Exactly. The Achilles heel is you could be a rookie 20 years old. It's a very difficult injury to come back from. While Rodgers improved statistically over the course of the season, some analysts still don't think he played well. While it's not unreasonable to think he will play better a full season removed from the injury, it's not clear where the ceiling is. Still, Kinkabala argues that Jets' issues had more causes than it just. If he was getting better as the season wore on, that's because the injury was healing. Like, what the hell is everybody talking about? And here's the most important part. And I feel the same exact way. This is what I was saying about the Jets organization. As much as Aaron Rodgers struggled record-wise last year, there was a lot more wrong with the Jets than the play at quarterback, she said. There were a lot of limitations. There were a lot of ways that he was hamstrung and challenged, not the least of which his coach getting fired out of nowhere. The offensive staff completely changing. The defense did not uphold its end of the bargain a lot. Absolutely. This is a great article. This should give every Steelers fan hope when Aaron Rodgers signed. He's coming back off the Achilles. It's almost 2 years. If you tell me that the Jets are a good franchise to play for, you need to get a straitjacket and go to a mental institution. Not only can I not stand the Jets, but they are the most dysfunctional organization in the entire league. And I'm going to end it with this. Art Rooney goes on to say, a little while longer, Rooney doubles down on Rodgers' timeline. Thank God. I truly believe that if Aaron Rodgers signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers, that the fan base is going to go absolutely crazy and be ecstatic. I believe that. So Art Rooney said once again, Steelers president Art Rooney II, who said April 1st that the Steelers will not wait forever, but a little while longer for Aaron Rodgers, delivered a similar line on his way out of Wednesday's owner meetings. A little while longer, I'll say the same thing, he said. I think that Art Rooney already knows that Aaron Rodgers is coming to play football. Let's just say you bring Aaron Rodgers in and he doesn't win. Let's say he didn't win the starting job. Let's say he didn't. But the other two quarterbacks had to compete with him in camp and they learned things from Aaron Rodgers. Doesn't that make your team better? Doesn't it make the other quarterbacks better? Now, I know he's not coming to sit the bench. I'm just saying. But having Aaron Rodgers around your players, whether he's the starter or he's not the starter, makes your team better, makes the other quarterbacks better. We all need to welcome Aaron Rodgers with open arms. Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.